Hello all. You can see the cat, the kitten, he's furious because the numbers are not in order and this kitten likes things to be very orderly. So we'll do just as he says. It asks us to write the numbers in order of size. Start with the smallest number. Another way that they could have asked the smallest up to biggest is ascending. Ascending means getting bigger and bigger and bigger, going up. So they didn't ask for that, but they could have done. Okay, it's a lot easier if you convert all of these into percentages. One is already in a percentage, so that one's absolutely fine. One is very easy to turn into a percentage. That one's just going to be 82%. I'm sure you've seen before decimals and percentages very easy to deal with. The ones which are more difficult are ones like this 4/5 just here, which I'll deal with in blue. If I have 4/5 and I want it to be a percentage, that means out of 100. Percent per 100. To do that, I can say, what do I need to multiply 5 by to give me 100? Of course, that's 20. What do I times 4 by? It's exactly the same thing. Denominators are multiplied by 20, so I'll do that same to the top line. So that will give me 80 out of 100. That will give me 80%. You can see those are quite close to each other, 82%, 80%, 85%. So that suggests to me that we've done the right thing, because if it were really obvious that one was really big and one was small, we wouldn't have to bother converting them all to percentages. The next one, I would choose my favorite color in the world. That is purple. 2/3 is one which is very difficult to convert into percentage using this method, because as you'll see, there's no whole number which I can times 3 by to get me to 100. However, I could multiply it by 33 1/3. As you might have seen before, 1/3 off sale means 33 1/3% off. And if I do that to the top line as well, times 33 1/3, that gives me 66 2/3. I'm not one particularly for fractions within fractions, so I'll convert that as quickly as possible to a percentage. What did we say? 66 2/3%. Cool, wonderful. Okay, I'll get rid of this bit just here so it's out of the way. And the very last one that we need to do, we will pick, let's treat ourselves with a dark green. Cool, 7/8. 7/8 into 100ths to turn it into a percentage. What can I times 8 by to give me 100? That will have to be 12.5. Hopefully you will have seen that in your lessons, that 8 multiplied by 12.5 gives 100. It makes some sense if we think 8 times something is 100. Not sure what that is instinctively, but I do know that 4 times 25 is 100, so that's okay. Now remind me, what did I do to go from 8 to 4? I divided by 2. So what must I have done to this number? I must have divided by 2. Another way of saying it, what do I do here? I must have to times, divide by 2 here. So 12.5. And if I do that, 7 multiplied by 12.5, oh, that's a trickier one, 87.5. 87.5. So that very last one was 87.5%. Okay, now the last thing we need to do is to write these in order. And what lots of people do at this point is they say 66 and 2/3 is smaller than 80 is smaller than 82. And that's obvious. That's really clear. We didn't need to do this to tell us that 60-something is smaller than 80-something. We need to compare the original fractions, decimals, percentages. So let's go back to basics. The smallest one was 66 and 2/3. That was just known as 2/3. The next smallest one is that 4/5. The next smallest one is 0.82. And then 85%. And then last, and definitely not least, actually, the biggest one is 7/8. Okay, and that is our final answer, and we'll give ourselves a big tick. GCSE Grade C 2 pointer. Thank you very much.